During today's live stream, somebody actually asked me what could be the lowest target that COSM can go to, because we're already approaching that 169 target that I spoke of, right? So my answer to that person was around 161. And there is a heavy reason as to why that target is existent. So let's just go ahead and go over those targets now for tomorrow's session. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a COSM technicals and raw price action threat of analysis on this, Hump Day Wednesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, team, so you may actually have a little co-host in here, right? So my little guy is right next to me. He's watching a little film, right? We're alone in the house, so he's actually joining me for the analysis right now. So if he does step in, don't mind him. He's feeling all kinds of emotions for the asset. Okay, you guys. So let's go ahead and just take a look at what we have going for COSM here. We're going to start off with the ARQ indicators. These are the new algorithms that we just refined and released. And I would like to point out a couple things here, right? So if we were to have followed actually the COSM price action and the short and long signals from the ARQ armor indicator, then please notice right here that on this 4-hour candle, the opening of this candle, which is about 336 actually, we got a short signal printed, right? And we have not actually recovered with a long signal, right? So in this case, we got a long signal printed right down here. When then it actually had us close the position right up here, right? So that actually measured a pretty nice move to the upside, right? So somewhere along the lines of this here, and it had us cover right up, it had us close right up here. So it was about a 9 to 10% move to the upside, so not bad. And then it actually still has not recovered with a long signal, like I said, right? Even despite this consolidation area and even this huge bounce to the upside, from where we felt that there could be a recovery from, right? So anyway, yeah, we're still getting that downside signal here from the ARC armor indicator. Now, also, let's look at the volatility versus momentum. So this is ARQ Enhanced MACD, right? Another one that actually comes with a package. And please notice that this has printed a bull signal here on the 4-hour time frame. Now, I'm very curious over why that is. And as I was looking at the manual way of looking at volatility versus momentum, which is this way that you're familiar with, I did notice something very, very curious here on the 4-hour though, right? So we're actually starting to get an upside pivot on that 4-hour stochastic momentum, right? It's actually this one right over here. Let me just make this a little larger. There we go. We're starting to get an upside pivot here on the EMA 3, which is the leading indicator from the SMA 14, right? So we would, day traders would usually take advantage of signals like this, and we do have increasing volatility again, right? So I'm not saying that this is going to recover from here, but the RSI is also suggesting that there could be a potential upside, but I'm not going to say that this is looking like an upside to recover. In fact, this is looking like more of a ebb and flow upside, right? So since we got that bottom side of about 158, the asset has essentially been shocked to the downside, which can create some danger to the market, right? So if there is some danger to the market, we have to proceed with extreme caution here. Okay, team. So yeah, go ahead and notice here that there is a slight downside to be looked at here, but it's likely to test once again back down to the area of about 158 before we can see any type of bounce, whatever that bounce may be, right? So let's go ahead and let me just put this back to the way it was on the 5-day, right? And go back to the other chart here just to see if we have anything else left to say. Okay, so yeah, one more thing, right? We can go ahead and validate the bear strength. Right, so this is the ARQ DBSI, another algorithm that we actually released. They're all going to be together if you do get your hands on these, right? So just make sure to reach out to us at arqindicators@gmail.com, and we'll get you situated, right? So please notice here that the bulls are actually at a 28% versus the bears at 72% strength, right? So this indicator takes a metric of every single candle printed throughout the entire trading history of the asset in whatever time frame you're in. And it gives you a value of relative strength right up here. So we're clearly seeing that the bears are still in control. So I'm not sure that I trust this bull signal just yet. It's a little aggressive for Enhanced MACD to be showing us a bull signal yet when we are still pretty bearish the asset. Right, so let's go ahead and continue on the analysis here, team, because there is something else to show you here, right? So this is, we were able to see that we could be touching down to around 189 here, based on this, based on the take profit from this macro formation, which is a right-angled broadening wedge, right? So that actually showed us a downside target of sub 190. Right, so the price action actually continued to the downside, and then we were able to identify what that downside could entail, and then we actually noticed here that we were in a broadening or a descending broadening wedge, right? So this wedge does have a particular set of rules that it requires in order for it to be succeeded, right? Or in order for it to meet some of its upside requirements, right? So we do have a test number 1 of the resistance, test number 2. Right, this is a test number 3 here, capitulation, and this is a test number 4 of the resistance, followed by a true test and breakout of test number 5. Right, so this test number 5 has been consolidating here until recently. Usually, what we, per the trading book rules here, right? So this is not me saying that it has to happen. I'm just telling you that this is widely known amongst professional traders that do observe this formation itself, that upon breaking out, we need to somehow, it's not needed, right? But it is pretty common that the asset would retrace back to validate its newly converted, what was, you can see here, resistance, 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 all this resistance, resistance, right? We would need to validate that and convert it into a support, which is honestly why we were able to tell that maybe the 169 target could have been it, because it's lining up pretty nicely with the all-time low. Right, so then the person today asked me live, what could it be? Why could we be facing a further downside, right? So I told him, well, if we're going to be facing a downside, or what the lowest target is, he was asking me, I kind of, guessed it here. And I said that it would be around 161 if I lined it up perfectly to the line of this pink or purple line, right? So that's kind of where I lined it up, and I said 161. Price action came to 158 and bounced right off of it, right? So now I'm curious to see if the price action would essentially consolidate here now to validate this area as a support, right? So it's just per the trading book rules. It's just the way that this formation is traded. It's similar to like football, right? So when they're about to throw the ball, they're over there like 222, right? They're about to the quarterback is about to release, the quarterback is about to get the ball from under the guy in front of him, right? So when he says hike, he gets the ball, and you're able to identify what the play is, because the opposing team, they set their defense or their offense, they set it in a different way, or they shift it around. So when you are seeing this live, when you're seeing this happen, you're able to identify what the play could potentially be, so you would adjust your players live on the fly, right? Or even just before that hike gets thrown out, you can see the shifting of the players right before that happens, right? So those are usually kind of traps, right? They trick you and into thinking that it could be something else, or a narrative that's not what you were expecting. So this is similar to what's happening here with COSM, and it's very unfortunate, right? Because it was very silly times here with this price action, man. I'm not following too much of the fundamentals itself. I have heard some negative things about that, but my business here is really the charts, okay, team? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. I'm not actually saying that this is going to be reversing from here. In fact, I'm actually saying that we may go back down to 158 and start consolidating within this area here to see if there is a potential to validate this area as a newly converted support before we can continue and do anything else. Okay, team, so let's look at the last part of the analysis here and see if we could see any type of confluence to what we're saying, right? So 15-minute time frame is actually finding the resistance from the SMA 14 right now. It could be facing a downside. The 5-minute time frame is already giving us a downside bias, but please remember that this lives out pretty fast, right, team? So this is a short-term downside back to the SMA 14, which I'm talking about being, high relevance to the 158 target yet again, and in a bounce, right? So the 15-minute is actually kind of resembling that too, finding that resistance from the SMA 14, get a little quick bounce to the downside here, and then we can figure out what can happen. Bi-hourly time frame RSI is already showing us a bearish cross beneath the SMA 14, thus validating that downside that we're looking for, right? But if we're getting that downside in the bi-hourly, please notice here that the 4-hour time frame is showing us a downside as well, but it's showing it as limited. This is where we can identify that 158 may be of higher probability for us to use, right? So now as we jump into the 8-hour, this right here, right? As we jump into the 8-hour, then the 12-hour, into the daily and into the 3-day, you can see here that the narrative is very much straightforward. This is more consolidation with slight downside, literally what we were talking about before we saw the RSI. All right, team. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here for COSM. I would definitely watch out for these. I would definitely watch out for that 158 target, as it is a critical inflection zone. I'm not saying that we can't combat it or we can't beat it. I'm just saying for us to keep a close eye on it, right? Because it would be essentially price discovery beneath this. All right, team. But so far, it's looking kind of like the way the play should naturally be, except that it's very unfortunate that it's paired with some negativity, fundamentally speaking, right? And I understand that we already had an insider buy about 2 days ago, right? So I forgot how many. I think it was 150,000 shares at $2.50, $2.58, somewhere around there. So I guess the company's trying to regain, retail confidence here. But to be very honest, team, it's not up to me to say what could happen here. It's just it's not up to me to say any of that, right, team? But it's just it looks like there is an effort here. I don't really mind for what they're doing there. I just really see that there could be a potential for a bounce here from this bi-daily broadening descending wedge or descending broadening wedge. Okay, team. So please remember, take whatever I do show within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Okay, team. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, I wish you well a very, very good night. And I will catch you at the bell, literally, mañana AM. Adios.